Hello once again, race fans, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm VR Stuntman, and I'm bringing you round 12 of the GT300 League at vrroom.org. VR Room, of course, the best online racing site on the web. And for this round we have the reverse grid race, and on pole position that puts Ginobili in the Subaru, who's looking for a good result after a disappointing season, I think it's fair to say. Second on the grid we have Scouser in the little MRS, also looking for a good result. N10 has to be one of the favourites for this race, starting near the front in the Celica. He swapped to the Celica again for this run. Then we have Rick in fourth place in the Garaya. He's getting the hang of that car. Next up, Hatcher in the newer of the two Garayas, fifth. So sixth on the grid would be Slicker in his Celica. Seventh we have Malada in the RX-7. Just two RX-7s in this race, which is unusual. Eighth on the grid we have Race 42 in a third Celica. Next up, Stuntman in the 2003 Garaya. And then finally at the back of the grid we have Scalebreaker, who's also got to be a favourite for this race, especially with the fast starting Subaru. And finally, bringing up the rear, the winner of the previous round, Jordan. So we'll get on with the racing, and this is the rear camera from Ginobili, and look at the launch off the line, the advantage that four-wheel drive traction gives you as we come charging down to turn one. And you can see N10 braking late on the outside and making a pass. Also on the outside, Hatcher running wide there. Oh, and there's a bit of a coming together towards the back, so we might just rewind and have a quick look at that. We'll go on board, I think, with Stuntman. Here we go, on the roof cam of Stuntman. We've already lost a place to the Subaru that's gone flying off the start. Down to turn one, and that's Jordan on the left. Bit of bumping and boring, and Stuntman, couldn't see it on the screen, bumped into Race 42. Really three cars going for the same corner, and a bit more of a nose to tail thing there, but it was just unfortunate. And Race 42 is at the back and has damage from that. So I think that was pretty unlucky for Race 42. Certainly no damage on Stuntman's car. So we're back on the rear camera of Ginobili, N10 very, very sideways. But he seems to be able to drive like that and not lose speed, and he's looking for the inside at the hairpin. But doesn't make the move. We have Scouser running third, Hatcher running fourth. Then it's Rick and Scalebreaker. This is Rick's view of Breaker. You can tell it's Breaker because the lights are flashing. Someone just kissed the gravel through there. I think it was Hatcher. And Rick is defending, or is he attacking? Oh, and that's Slicker into Breaker, and that's caused a bit of chaos further back. And Slicker drops down to 10th place. Oh, and there was more coming together there. That was Stuntman involved in that. Let's have a look and see what happened. So on board with Stunt. So we're down in 10th place. Malada is ahead. Jordan ahead of him. So into Kumo. See Slicker making a mistake. And Stunt tries for the inside. Malada doesn't see him coming, and there's a collision, and Stunt loses a lot of speed, and Slicker runs into the back of him, but again no damage. This is Slicker though going for the pass, but we need to see what's happening up front, because this is Ginobili not quite making the move. Stick running very wide out of Vidal, and someone's off. Someone's off. That's Hatcher. Here he is, and he's rejoined in 11th, and that was a little tap from Rick that spun him out. So very unlucky for Hatcher. Meanwhile, this is on board with, or looking at Genobi in the black Subaru under pressure from Scouser into the turn 1 on lap 2. N10 from Genobi from Scouser, but already up to 4th and 5th are Breaker and Jordan, and they're side by side. Breaker off the track and trying to run around the outside of Jordan. There's no way he's going to do that. So Jordan up to 4th from 11th on the grid. What opening lap and a half he's had. Breaker 5th, then we've got Rick 6th from Malada and Stuntman, and they're side by side, and Stuntman round the outside, passing round the outside there. Malada perhaps overcautious, and he's down in 8th place. Meanwhile, back at the front, N10 with his usual sideways style, making lots of smoke, and Breaker and Jordan are side by side, or partially side by side anyway, into the Schumacher S. Can't really run two abreast through there, not without both cars slowing down a lot. And Genobi under pressure from Scouse. Right on the rear cam of Genobi. Where are we? There we go. So this is coming down the back straight through Hatzenbeck, and on the brakes, and everyone taking it steadily through there, and everyone maintaining position. Oh, and there goes Breaker passing Jordan into Coca-Cola. Meanwhile, this is on board with Stuntman. Here we go, going for a slipstream pass on Rick. So Stuntman up to 6th place, but with a little work to do to catch up with the lead pack. And look how close they are. This is on board with Jordan. Scouser in the red car. Scalebreaker directly ahead of us in the black one, and Scalebreaker and Scouser side by side through the Mercedes arena, and Scouser's come out ahead of Breaker there. Wonderful driving, but he's slow out of the right hander, and Scalebreaker goes past. Oh, and Jordan's having a look as well. Oof, oh, that was close. I thought Scouser was going to get knocked off there, but Scouser a bit ragged, and Jordan makes the move eventually. Or has he? Here comes Scouser back again, using the straight line speed of the MRS and also the slipstream from the car in front. Oh! And they're going side by side again, and a bit of horn blowing. I don't think Scouser was very happy with that. Meanwhile, the lead three have got away. This is Scalebreaker, right on the tail of the other Subaru of Genobi. Through Kumo. I'm going to just stick with this for a little bit. Oh, Genobi a little slow out of bit curve there, which gives Breaker the overlap, but what he hasn't got is the slipstream. And it looks like it's better to have the slipstream than the faster exit speed. And Breaker down the inside into Vidal and through up to 2nd place. Lovely job there. Meanwhile, I think Stuntman has caught on the back of this group. Further back, this is Malada. He's also kind of in the group as well. So 8 cars in a line now for 1st to 8th place. 9th is Slicker. This is on board with race 42. Slicker ahead of us. And down into turn 1, and race 42 is going to make the move, and later on the brakes, hits the apex. Job done. Nice piece of work. Meanwhile, this is N10 his rear camera, and we're looking at Breaker now, who's up to second and going for the lead. A Breaker on the wrong side of the track. Meanwhile, Ginobbi's defending from Jordan. Oh, is that a mistake from Ginobbi? Let's look at Ginobbi's rear camera. You can see Jordan ducking out the slipstream, then back in it, and then out again. And I think Jordan's going to go for the pass on the brakes into the hairpin, and that's Jordan up to third place, is he? Yeah, just about. So it's N10 in the Celica from Breaker in a Subaru, Jordan in an RX-7, then the second Subaru of Ginobbi, and those four broken clear. And we've lost Stuntman. What happened to Stuntman? He's down in 9th place. I need to rewind to see what happened there. So this is onboard stunt. Here we go. There, right. So we're coming down the start-finish straight. Sorry about that. Trying to find the right point on the video. So we'll go on board. That was turn 1. Now we're into the Mercedes arena. Oh, and Stuntman just caught out by Scouser, braking earlier than he expected. Stunt spins and then rejoins and hits Malada, and there's damage on both those cars. So Malada actually gains a place, but has picked up damage. That's race 42 going up past Stuntman. So Stunt down to 9th and damaged as well. Rick has gained a place out of that too. So down into the hairpin, we're on lap 4 of 9. So still a ways to go yet. And we're going to focus back with the leaders. This is onboard scale breaker into Kumo, just popping out, making oh, he's gone for the pass at bit curve. That's slowed him out of bit curve, and that's allowed Jordan to come steaming through. So Jordan now up to second place. And is Jordan going to make a move into the Vidal chicane? No, he is not. So these three and Ginobbi breaking away. Oh, Jordan climbing over the curbs. Oh, Breaker with an excellent run there, but not able to get on the inside of Jordan. He was hoping to get on the inside and pick up N10's slipstream, and Jordan going for the lead. N10 braking late and getting it sideways. So that's put Jordan in the lead. Breaker, he hasn't managed to make a pass. Meanwhile, we're going on board with Ginobbi because he's right in this group as well. That's Breaker sideways ahead of us. And Breaker going for the pass on N10, doesn't make it. Further back, there's some dicing going on between race 42 and Stuntman. They were side by side through the Mercedes arena. Malada is right there as well. Malada on the outside. Stuntman gives him room, but Malada didn't make it stick. It's a long way around the outside on that corner. And Slicker's in that group. Hatcher driving well, but hasn't managed to make up much ground after being knocked off on lap 1. Oh, this is N10 having a big moment. That's at the entry to the Schumacher S, and he's dropped 2 places to the two Subarus there. So N10, well, he did that on his own, I think. I think he just put 2 wheels on the grass turning in and had a huge moment. It's a really good save. Not to spin it off there. Meanwhile, Rick, here he is attacking Scouser for 5th place. Oh, going for the outside, but there was a little tap on the back. Also, Rick not that fast on the straight, and he has to give that place. Meanwhile, Stuntman is dropped to the last. What happened there? So we'll ride on board with him. Here he is on the outside going into the Schumacher S. Now coming up to Kumo, just worrying, trying to worry Slicker. Not Slicker, it's race 42, beg your pardon. Oh, and just puts two wheels on the grass and spins it into the gravel, and that's all pretty horrible. So we're on board with Scalebreaker. He's up to second, and Jordan hasn't got away. Breaker is still in his slipstream, so Breaker is gonna catch that gap back up. Meanwhile, Shinobi and N10 are battling it out. Here comes Shinobi, was a bit ragged coming out of the final corner. N10 sweeps past, there's his rear camera, and N10 is late on the brakes into turn 1, and he is so again. Meanwhile, this is Scouser and Rick getting closely acquainted. And Rick is looking quick and looking to make a move on Scouser. Scouser runs wide, and they're two abreast coming out of the Mercedes arena, and still two abreast. Surely Rick's going to get this one on the inside for the left-hander. Oh, climbs the curbs though, and that makes him wobble, and Scouser back to 5th. So good racing from them. Oh, and it's still going on. Rick on the outside as they come up to the hairpin. But looking for the cutback. Good clean fighting between those two. Further back, well, the race seems to have developed into battles of two. We've got Jordan and Breaker first and second, then Shinobi and then 10 third and fourth, the other way around though. Scouser and Rick, who are following, 5th and 6th, then 7th and 8th is race 42 and the ladder. Slicker just dropping off the back of that group. And then we've got Hatcher and Stuntman, so riding on the rear camera, here we go on. Jordan and Breaker has caught right up, hopping over the curbs at the chicane and into the final corner, and that is 6 laps done of 9. Further back we'll have a look at N10's rear camera. He's ahead of Shinobi, he'll probably stay there, but we need to look at Jordan and Breaker, and they're side by side into turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact. Meanwhile, further back, this is Rick and Scouser into turn 1, and Rick has made the move. Oh, and gets very sideways and spins across the front of Scouser. So very unfortunate for Scouser in particular. Don't see what he did wrong there. As here come the two leaders, and it's Breaker on the inside making a pass as he does side by side, and the yellow flag's been called, and I don't know who was ahead of those two when the yellow flag came out. We got Breaker in the lead. Meanwhile, someone's pulled out. Oh, Breaker's pulled to one side, let Jordan through, so the flag must have come out when Jordan was leading. We've lost someone. It was Scouser. He's pulled off the track, lost quite a few positions. So I'm going to fast forward, see if anyone pits. Here we go. In the pits we have just the one car, and it's Stuntman coming in to have that rear damage fixed. So we'll fast forward a bit more. Right, so we are now on lap 8 of 9. We're going to get a restart at the final corner, so we'll have just one lap under green flag at the end. This is on board with Stuntman. Ahead of us is Rick, so the two 2003 Garages, in fact the three Garages are all at the back of the field. Rick not really quite on the back of the pack. Oh, and Stuntman hits the end of the pit wall, and that's him out of contention. This is on board with N10, and you can see that Scalebreaker is trying to make a move on Jordan for the lead as they come down to turn 1. N10 getting a great slipstream, but not really able to use it. And it's going to be Scalebreaker in the lead. Oh, he's had to leave the door open for Jordan. He wasn't sure if he could turn in. But now Breaker turns in, so this is on board with Jordan. Just tap Breaker there. And a good run. Meanwhile, further back, Hatcher has managed to pass Slicker. So Hatcher on the move. Up ahead you can see Genobi defending from race 42. He does like to defend as Genobi. As all the field concertinas up. This is the battle for the race lead though. It's Breaker from Jordan from N10, and those three are getting away from Genobi, and who's battling out side by side with race 42 through the hairpin, and race 42 goes ahead, so Genobi down to 5th. Malada is up to 6th, Hatcher 7th. Slicker 8th, Rick has dropped off the back of the pack. So this is N10, he's in 3rd. We're riding with him, but he's a bit sideways through bit curve, and he's not really close enough to the lead too, so it's going to be between these two here. We're on board with Jordan, and he's going for the pass on the outside. He's going to be latest on the brakes. Jordan very late and off. Oh, and hits Breaker, and there's more contact with N10, and it's all gone horribly wrong. I need to see that again. So we'll go with the outside shot. That's probably the best one for this. So this is Jordan coming through bit curve. He's in a great position, not quite on the tail of Breaker, but close enough to get a long slipstream. And all the time he's in the slipstream, he's gaining more and more speed over Breaker. On the outside, down into the Vidal chicane, they both brake late. They both brake a bit late, and Jordan off, hits Breaker, hits N10. And Jordan, well, that's an unusual place to go, and oh, right across the track, just misses race 42 into the gravel, and well, that's a very unusual, very creative line there by Jordan. And so the race winner out of all that was N10, who came through the carnage at the final corner, and he holds off Breaker for the win. So well done to N10. Breaker gets 2nd despite being knocked off at the chicane. Race 42 up to 3rd. That was a great final couple of laps for race 42. He was nowhere before the yellow flag came out. Then Genobi 4th, Malada, Hatcher, Slicker, Rick, Jordan and Stuntman. We'll have a quick look at the live timing, and we can see that the fastest lap by some way went to Breaker 203.6, next fastest Jordan 204.2, everyone else in the 205s. I think Stuntman 3rd fastest, and then we've got Genobi, Malada and Hatcher in the 206s, and Slicker in the 207s. Right, well, that was a pretty eventful race. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed being in it, as I've enjoyed this whole championship. That it was the final round. The champion was, of course, Scalebreaker. Jordan was 2nd in the championship, and Stuntman just pipped Malada for 3rd. As I say, great championship. Thanks everyone. It was a good attendance, and lots and lots of really good race action, some great footage, and please join me for next month. I'm not quite sure what I'll be covering, but I'm bound to be racing in something, and please stay tuned to my channel for for either more 300 action or perhaps some cappuccinos.